Welcome to the Geeks Assembled podcast. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hello, and welcome to Geeks Assembled. And today we are talking about the new episode of Doctor Who, what was broadcast this weekend. Thin Ice, Peter Capaldi, Pearl Mackie, and, shall we say, a lot of frozen water on the River Thames. So with this cast here, we'll go through everyone and see what their thoughts are on this episode. So we will go to Beef Dad. What was your take on this episode?
I enjoyed it. I was wondering sort of how late it was going to be in the Regency period, and they had taken it back to basically the last ice fair that was held on the Thames. The ice fairs had been held on the Thames, well, for several hundred years. I mean, even Henry VIII took a sleigh ride up the Thames from central London to Greenwich, and Queen Elizabeth I would go on the Thames when it was frozen. It was what they called the small ice age, but the frost fairs finished during the Regency period, and it was. I like the concept. There's plot holes. There are some real holes in it. Like they never really explain how. It would have been sort of late Jacobean times that the creature would have been in the Thames. How the hell would the Jacobeans have managed to chain the creature up in the Thames? Because there's no way they could have stayed underwater to do it. Where did the creature go? I have a theory, probably Loch Ness. But as I say, there was a few plot holes. But even if you ignore the plot holes, it was a bit of a romp. It was good fun. I enjoyed it.
That's good to hear. Talking of plot holes, Matt, I have got one big plot hole in this story is who was pumping air into the diving suits and how long was the air hose? But
about a week.
Yes, I mean, they went in one hole and they came out of another hole somewhere down the river. I'm thinking, how long are these hoses? But anyway, I digress. Let's go to Kevin and see what he thought of Thin Ice.
Well, I really enjoyed it. Even when I was thinking about how did the air go in those dive suits, I was really thinking about how is that possible. Major plot hole there. I loved the story. The creature, all trained up under the ice. It's just how did they do that in the first place? Pearl Mackie was just angry in this episode and asking the doctor questions about did you kill anyone, and he said yes, but he saw people die, and he will ask him how many. Well, he lost count. He moves on. So and then the villain or villainish guy, he was there was something about racism, of course, because Pearl Mackie's light brown skin, and then in that time, slavery was high up. But there were some good questions, that she gave. She like, to the doctor, you cannot walk with me like this. I'm different. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, a 7.5 out of 10.
Right. Okay. Thanks for that, Kevin. We'll move on to Susan and Alex. See what they thought of this, the third story of the season.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a romp. It was a little too much running around. But the funny thing is, they've got a certain amount of time, and I don't know if they're trying to have it, mini condensed, and maybe they don't want to analyze everything or have every question answered, or maybe they do want to leave it in the air. I heard that there was talk about the Bible and history and things of that sort. But I mean, it's a great repartee between Bill and the Doctor, much better than the previous 2 seasons. Much more about the story as opposed to just one character or only one character. So that's a big improvement. Yeah, I mean, some things I didn't like about the episode, but as I said, as I've heard people talk about it and the many elements, and it seems as though it deserves at least 3 watchings. And that's basically what you want in a science fiction show. You want people to watch it and to think about it. So, yeah, there's only a few problems that I would have with the episode, but it's not large. And it was interesting how the Doctor relates to the kids, and then Bill is asking questions about what he does and how he does it. And as I said, that's what you want to have in a science fiction show.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I was intrigued by the monster under the Thames. I loved how detailed it was. It had all those scales. It had all those spiny ridges and stuff, and a big mouth, and then it had those that droopy thing in front with like the light on it, and then like there was these other fish that surrounded it, pilot fish is what I thought they were, and they had a bright light on them, and you could see them surrounding someone and then sucking them down into the ice, and that was really cool. And so it was really interesting. I loved that the Doctor was confronted about after the kid had been sucked into the ice and his hand remained, the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, and he reaches out for the screwdriver and not for the kid, and so it is a question whether or not he had that whole thing set up, and I enjoyed the episode a lot. I thought that it was really interesting, and Bill looked beautiful in her what is it, Regency period dress, and she was incredible. And the top hats, and the top hat that he had, and that was full of bread or pies or something, and then boom, he's got another top hat because he stole another one, and it was really, really great, and it was so funny. I mean, there was a couple really serious moments, and then I was like, and within a few minutes, it was back to the lighthearted, generous writing, and the writer was Sarah Dollard, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. So yeah,
Brilliant. I mean, the sonic screwdriver in the kid's hand just shows you how alien the Doctor is. When it comes to humanity, he went for the screwdriver. But as for your brilliant description of the creature in the Thames, that just reminds me of a few blind dates I've been on. Anyways, moving on, we will go to Jason. and see what he thought of Thin Ice.
Oh, I thought it was Hitler for a moment because I guess some people need a nice text. But anyways, yeah, this is Jason. Yeah, do not go to the ice alone. Those fish will come after you and send you to the lake or Wibble. Yeah, with the giant fish going to eat you. But with seeing how people are using fish poop as bricks, which that was a very interesting idea. And Bill almost said the S word too before they changed the different scene right there, which that was a bit funny. The doctor and Bill, how they were together, how Bill didn't like what the doctor was doing, and she was just getting mad about it, and how their conversations were together. It just keeps getting better and better. It's like you just like Bill even more of her character, and to her, she seems more like Martha between Ace, between Donna. To me, I mean, I've been saying that for quite a while, and I'm actually still standing correct on that. And with the fact of the idiot guy who wanted to use this whole situation of the ice and the fish being chained up as this whole money situation this whole family's been doing, finally got what was coming to him, and also he got punched by the doctor, which was the best scene right there. Yeah, just everything on it was pretty good. How they dress and the effects of it, definitely great. Just seeing their face expressions in some of the scenes, how the doctor was reacting to the kids. I mean, yeah, of course it was shocking how the doctor just goes grab the sonic screwdriver and just let the kid just get sinked by the fish, but knowing how the doctor is for living 2,000 years old, he's seen so much, and knowing how his emotions are, yeah, could be numb. But anyways, yeah, it's definitely a great episode, better than last week's.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jason. I enjoyed this episode better than Smile, but that's just me. Right, we've got two more people left to have a word with. Hello, stranger. How are you, Beefhead?
Marvelous. It's lovely to be back. Yeah, last night for me it was a historical episode done correctly. If just ask my dad; he was there. The historical facts are completely accurate. The last Frost Fair of 1814 started on February the 4th and lasted for 4 days. The costumes look fantastic, and you have the idea of that you think it's one thing. You think it's the creature that's below the ice that's the villain, and it's not. It's Lord Sutcliffe, who's exploiting it for his own means and his own personal gain, and doesn't care who he treads on in the sort of process. What I liked with this, as has been the whole way through the series so far, is the development of Bill. Bill from the start has been, I think, the best realised real-world character. It just seems like she's not acting. She seems like a real person on the screen. There's no sort of stereotype, archetype to it. It's you take her as you find her, and she's 100% believable. And she's being taught by the doctor as she's going along with this. It's not all, sunshine, lollipops. There are going to be people that die. You're going to see things that I'm going to do that may make you think of a different way. But ultimately, this is how it is. That's what I have to do. If I don't do it, if I don't make these hard decisions, then something else is going to happen, and it could have more cataclysmic events. The scene between her and him, where she's actually in tears, it's really, really powerful, and he has to have that professional sort of detachment that they had hearkened to in earlier episodes. That's why he's called the Doctor. Professional detachment. He doesn't have the luxury for grief. He doesn't have the luxury for outrage. He just has to get on and do the job, because if he was to do it, everything would just fall to bits. And aside from that, the humour in this episode is sublime. As much as you have the high drama, it's underplayed. I love the way that Capaldi's doctor grifts his way through it. He's fascinated by con man grifting, and in the way that he dupes the guy at the brickyard into telling him exactly what he wants to know, just by literally talking his way around the conversation. And he's hip and down with the kids. Laters, yeah.
Thanks for that, Beef. I forgot about that bit. Yeah, awesome. Brian, what's your take on the Thin Ice?
Oh, it's my turn already? All right.
It's your turn already, Brian.
Okay. Well, me personally, well, again, I saw this episode on BBC America, as I always do, so it has the commercials, but I didn't mind. Personally, I thought this was probably the best episode so far throughout the 3 episodes that they had for the series for this season. It kind of reminded me of a little bit of Classic Who again. It had that atmosphere and feel to it to me, and I really enjoy that. Like, it had like the doctor and the doctor and the companion, which was Bill, and the old-fashioned get-up, and I feel like that's something that they would do within Classic Who, and I really enjoyed seeing that again. The story was great. I loved the story. I thought the villain was kind of stupid, though. Kind of mostly, yeah, it's stupid. I mean, he looked like a stupid circus performer to me. It made him goofy, in my opinion. Goofy and like, I'm gonna get you. And I just didn't like that. I thought it was stupid. But see, I thought it was see, again, I like mostly I think everybody here. I thought the main villain was the whale or something, but it was that stupid circus performer. But no, it was great. I absolutely loved this episode. I think my favorite part within this episode is Bill questioning the doctor and that whole scene, like the 2 scenes, like where like Bill asking if he killed or if he ever lost anybody within the travels, and the scene when they're captured and Bill asking if he's really 2,000 years old. So yeah, I think those are my 2 absolutely most favorite scenes within last night's episode. But is the Doctor really 2,000 years old? I mean, come on. He's been lying about his age, like, mostly within a couple episodes within a previous series already. So is he really 2,000 years old? Come on.
Well, his age differs from doctor to doctor with these stories, so you can never tell. But he could be even older, but you never know. And if you want to go down the route of carnival performer, circus performer, villain, I think you should look at Soldine in The Horns of Naimon. That is a kind of that is over the top acting for a villain. But I thought the villain in this was, well, he's not really a villain, is he? He's just out for himself. There was really no villain in this. The Beast wasn't a villain. He was just making money for himself. But the concept for me, I felt, has been done many times before in Doctor Who. I got the feeling of the Beast Below, the planet of the Ood. Where chained creature needs to be freed. But all in all, it was good. The scenery was brilliant. The costume, I loved Capaldi's costume in this. I thought that was an awesome costume. And his acting with Pale Mackie, it's just blissful, I think. And and the effects. I say the Beast was brilliant. The underwater scenes. I've mentioned my little quibble with the air hose and the dive suits and stuff like that, wondering where who's pumping the air in. But we won't go there. I agree with Brian. I think this for me now is the swan of the season. So I liked the pilot. I wasn't so keen on Smile, and this one I loved because when Doctor Who does the sort of a period drama episode, they always do it well. And I can't knock it. So, talking of knocking, what about the vault door? Did we hear the sound of the drums? I thought yes, I think we did. So yeah. I will open the floor up, and shall we discuss the sound of the drums?
That's another thing I wanted to ask. I completely almost forgot about that. When Doctor returned back to present day, and then he was talking, and they mentioned the oath again, and that's one of the things that is still driving me a bit nuts, because I would like to know what that oath is, But then after that, they showed the vault. And then within the vault, you heard the... So is something to do with Missy or the Master? Because as you know, John Sim is going to return, so...
There was 3 knocks, not 4 knocks.
No, but there was the knocking, but behind the knocking there was a faint do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
Really?
Yes, there was. There was the main knocks, but if you listen carefully, there was even fainter knocks behind that.
Whoa.
So,
I mean, the thing is, you talk about them doing this sort of the historical stuff well. The whole one of the main remits of Doctor Who, when it was first put out, was to educate and entertain, which is why you had all the historical stuff with the first Doctor. And this really is a jump. This is what Brian clicked on it. It's a jump back in time to the original remit of the Doctor. It's educating people about the fact that the last ice fair on the Thames was in the Regency period. But they never explained where the creature originally came from. And they never really explained call them pilot fish with the little blue light, like an anglerfish. As I say, I would have liked a bit more explanation there. Perhaps Perhaps she'll go to Loch Ness and she'll be there.
So the other episode or group of episodes that it really harkened to was Leela in the Talons of Wayne Chang. Like, here she is, a modern, space girl now, who's dressing up and struggling through and confronting the old guy. So that was even I can see the comparison there, because even Capaldi said last night he is Bill's teacher. He's teaching her, and that's what the fourth Doctor was doing with Leela. He was teaching her. So there is a big comparison there. Yeah, I mean, but Bill's not a savage, not like Leela. No. Maybe a modern day savage in this world, shall we say?
And she's got more clothes on than Leela originally had.
Yes. Any more thoughts on the episode? Favourite moments, dislikes?
I did like the scene where when Bill and the doctor was captured, that the doctor was using a sonic screwdriver, and then one of the henchmen, I should say, was showing up and grabbed the sonic screwdriver away, and then the fish was coming near him, and then he threw the sonic screwdriver to the doctor, then the guy just fell off to the water. I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, yeah, it did seem
Anybody
like
else?
it seemed like it was the sonic screwdriver episode. But as I said, the other things I was wondering about, I mean, I did miss some of the dialogue because it was so quick. But again, when the little boy seems to die, or I don't know if they ever address that later on in the episode of, boys holding the sonic screwdriver. Yeah. Right. And then Bill's upset.
He died.
Yeah, and then Bill's upset. And, that's the other question, too, because obviously, you could get a lecture or you could read a book. It's not the same thing as real life. It's not the same thing as action or actually being there. And, if you're in a high-stress job and the doctor's sort of fighting villains and worlds and things like that, unless he has a whole group of lawyers around all the time, you might get your hands dirty. You might be confronted. You might be presented with situations that you may or may not, make a decision or whichever. Just like a real-life doctor or a policeman or a fireman. Not everything's pretty. Not everything is going to be pretty, So that's the other question of fans and non-fans of, is he just coming in a time machine and changing wherever he lands, or is it the Tardis, or is it a combination like science fiction of moral choices and then themes and other dilemmas that you're presented with within a scenario or a story.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I thought it tackled last night. It brought forward the racism thing of slavery and all like that. And the scene where the doctor wasn't going to. That came unexpected, where he just hit that guy. I thought that was one of the best scenes. he told Bill to sit down and stay calm, don't lose it, and it was him whack. But that was you didn't expect that at all. But it sort of was it was as Beef Dad says, it's educational. It's sort of brought a bit of the education back of telling people about slavery and racism back then, which is a good thing, I think.
Well, was there a lot of slavery in London? I mean, I know in other parts of the world there was a lot of slavery, but
wasn't slavery overturned in the UK in 1840, and this was set in about 1812?
This was set about 1814, I believe, was the last ice fair. But yeah, and there'd always been a slight amount of slavery in London, going back to the time of, certainly during Elizabeth's reign, but there were also non-slave coloured people in England, and certainly in London, who they ran shops, they did all sorts. They were just people.
Right, and that's the other issue as well, is that, obviously it probably wasn't called slavery back in the time. It might have been indentured servitude or some other terminology. It may not have been,
But there were, as I said, though, again, there were people who did not work for someone. They had their own business. It did. Yeah, it was much later on that slavery really kicked in. It was never massive in England. It was never massive in England. The highest population of slaves were in America. in the Americas. Because, well, there really wasn't the work for slaves. I mean, yeah, you would have servants, but then they would be treated with respect, looked after the same way as you would look after ordinary. And the indigenous servants, the difference, there wasn't a great deal of difference. In fact, one of Queen Elizabeth I's favourites was a coloured dwarf. And that dwarf, she was allowed loads and loads of latitude. The Queen dressed her in the best possible clothes. In fact, a lot of the time it would be clothes that were duplicates of the clothes that she wore.
I'll tell you something. People say a lot. They can say a lot about these casts, but we are educational. Thank you, Beef Dad. Oh look, we've got a newcomer here. Hello, Craig.
Hello, you alright?
All right. You're just in time to do your bit for Thin Ice. Give us your take on it.
Okay, I thought the episode itself was really great. The camaraderie between Bill and Capaldi is just magic. The writing has just improved immensely. Straight from the get-go, it's easy to follow. It's funny. It's emotional. You can really I feel like you can really get to know these characters, and it's just a shame it's his final season. And Bill's allegedly. The setting was brilliant. It felt like a Christmas special, but a general episode. The monster was cool. You didn't really see much of it, but I thought that kind of added to the mystery of it. I really liked it. So I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh, well, we haven't done the marks yet, but jump in the gun as always, Craig.
Yeah.
You got any favourite moments or characters or dislikes about it?
Favourite moments? I like the elephant. I thought the elephant was cool. Even at the last episode when I saw the elephant in the snow on the Thames, I was like, oh, this is really cool. So yeah. I'm quite easily pleased.
I was just going to say, yeah, so you're quite easily pleased.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we'll go to final. If anybody's got no more dislikes or favourite moments or anything like that, we'll go to final saying the marks. Yep. Okay.
One thing more.
Yeah.
When the creature was released and went off through the under the London Bridge, I thought it was really funny how much that reminded me of the whales in Star Trek 4 going under the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's a little similarity there anyway.
Well, we'll see as we with you, Susan. Your final saying you're marked out of 10, if you be
All
so
right.
kind.
Final say, wonderful, rich episode. It was educational. I did learn so much, and I knew very little about that period of time, and now I do. And it was delightful that there was tie-ins to Big Finish, like he mentioned, he'd been there 3 or 4 times, and I've seen Big Finish cashing in on that right now. That they're offering all 4 of the Frost Fair stories for a certain price or whatever. So, yay for Big Finish. Again, I love Big Finish. And then I can't fault it. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. That was just delightful. Alex?
Oh, brilliant, Susan.
Yeah, originally I was going to give it a 7, but as I said, as I've been listening to, more and more of the fans and the groups that, here as well as the other one, it made me think a little bit more. I'll probably give this a 9. I'd say it has faults, but they're not big, and it is interesting, and it is fascinating the way they wrote it and the interplay and the situations it presents. And that's what a science fiction show should do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Alex. Jason, what's your final say?
Well, I like the interactions of Doctor and Bill. I like the whole scenery, some of the funny scenes between it. And definitely, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10.
Brilliant. Kevin, I think you've already given your score, but can you just remind us what it was?
It was 7.5, and I may put it to an 8.
Oh! Beef Dad, what's your final say?
Yeah, there were plot holes and unresolved issues, shall we say, in this. But they took away nothing from the enjoyment of the episode, which was it was a little piece of magic as far as the interaction between the Doctor and Bill is concerned. Nobody has mentioned them, but the children in this were absolutely superb. The urchins were brilliant. Spider, the little lad that got killed at the beginning, especially, was very good. And Kitty, who seemed to be the leader of the children, she was superb. In spite of plot holes and unresolved issues, this gets a 9 out of 10 for me.
Ah, brilliant. Yeah, it sort of reminded me of Oliver with the little street urchins.
And the next Doctor one.
Yeah. I think this is why you got a feeling of a Christmas special there, Craig.
Yeah.
So, Brian, final say. I think you gave us your score, didn't you, earlier?
No, I didn't.
Oh, didn't you? What was the score?
I didn't give my score before. I would probably rate this episode, I think maybe 10 Tardises.
10 Tardises. I like when Brian comes on here because he don't care. He just throws these Tardises away willy-nilly. And Craig, can you remind us what your score was and if you've got a final say on the story?
Yeah, I mean, I give it a big fat 9, and I remember my grandma used to say to me when I was like really young, she used to tell me all these stories about kids skating on the Thames and going under the ice, and I never believed her. But now she must be telling the truth.
It's well documented. It's well documented. It's there. It happened. It's just it doesn't happen anymore. So it's down to me now. I enjoyed this. It was a big improvement from last week for me. So I agree with Beef Dad. There are plot holes, but it's science fiction. You don't really have to have a niggle at them at all. But I'm giving it a 9. So that's high praise from me. A 9. So without further ado, I would like to thank everybody here who's taken part. We lost Beefhead. He said he might try and get back, so he might pop in later on. But he didn't give us his score, did he? I can't remember. No. I think he gave it 20 out of 10. He enjoyed it. I know he was enthusiastic when he was talking about it. So yeah, I'd like to say thank everybody who always joins us on these casts. Please watch, subscribe on our channel, leave a comment below. You know, we always read them. We have a laugh at what people like to put sometimes.
Be nice. Say something nice.
Yes. Say something. Yeah. Say something nice. But give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down because everything counts in this game. We're on Twitter, we're on Tumblr, so just you'll find us all over the place. And if you go look on Facebook, we have got a public Facebook group there. More the merrier. So apart from that, we're going to sign off because I am tired. I'm full of cold. I need my rest. I'm getting old. My memory's going, and I need the toilet, to be honest. So, adios, everybody out there.
Bye, everybody. Bye.